Hello, everybody. This is Ash from Not Your Average Netizens, joining you from a unplanned show as of not too long ago. Um, Many of you listening to us probably already know by now, um, but sometime today, um, Ladies Code, the group Ladies Code got into a serious car accident, and their member Unbi passed away. Um, their van was slid on a rainy road, crashed into the traffic barriers on the Yeongdong Highway last night at 1:20 a.m. Korean Standard Time. Um, it said that fellow members Rise and Sojung are also critical condition. Um, Also happens to be that Sojung's birthday is today, which is in
Hmm.
Korea is September 3rd. Um, the police suspects the accident was due to hydroplaning. They're currently investigating it. From what I understand, the monsoon season in Korea right now is going unusually long, so it was raining fairly hard last night. Um, from what we know so far, Unbi was not wearing her seatbelt at the time and was ejected from the car in the crash. Um, Polaris Entertainment has released a statement saying that after Ladies Code schedule in Daegu and on their way back to Seoul, the back wheel of the car came off in the rain, which spun the car several times before it crashed into the guardrail. Rise is currently in a critical condition due to head trauma injury, and Sojung is also being treated. The manager and the stylist with them do not have serious injuries. The members will be airlifted from Suwon to Seoul today. They have not determined where the funeral will be held, and also, as in addition, the driver of that vehicle was killed as well. And um, you know, being following idols, K-pop singers, this is actually something that has happened. Car crashes happen quite often. Secret, not too long ago, was involved in a very bad car crash. Fortunately, no one was seriously hurt. I think Zinger Hana was in the hospital for quite a little while recuperating. Um, but this is the first time that, at least I can remember, somebody may have a better memory or, just have a longer memory than me, that someone has actually passed away from this happening. Um,
There
there,
was there was this one boy group member who passed away from a motorcycle crash as well. I don't remember what group it
oh,
was.
yes.
I don't know if
Yeah.
it counts as the same.
From Monday Kids, yeah, I remember that.
Mm.
Someone's a Monday Kids or something like that.
Motorcycle crash. Um, yeah, I don't. I mean, it's still a traffic accident. So, um, and it's also happened to actors. Um, I mean, it's crashes, traffic accidents. I mean, Korea is traffic accident rate is 1.7 times higher than the rest of the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, which is, basically 34 countries. They're, kind of together for trade, and maybe most of the major countries, U.S., Austria, France, United Kingdom, and so they've had this problem for a while. But I guess I was focused on. I've found out about this 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as soon as I got off from work. So um, that this was pretty much a punch in the gut for me. Um, Ladies Code also, I mean, they were kind of my replacement Wonder Girls in a way. I really liked them.
Mhm.
Um, I didn't care for their latest song, but as a whole, I thought they have so much potential, and so it just, I guess, in that sense, because I had a special feeling for them. It's just very hard to believe. And I'm also one of those people. I've never had I've never had something very tragic happen, in my life. I've never had, kind of like they say some people have like that one kind of moment where they finally grow up or they finally understand what mortality is and what death means. And I feel like I haven't had that yet. And that scares the crap out of me. So, situations like this, whether it's Unbi passing away or Robin Williams passing away or Paul Walker passing away, it's it's terrifying because it makes you think about, it makes you think about your mortality. It makes you think about, what you're doing with, um, I don't know how the rest of you are feeling.
Um, I like Ladies Code. So I heard the news while I was still at work. A couple of my friends messaged me, and I saw people talking about it on Twitter. And it's like it's really surreal, I guess, because it wasn't that long ago that I was talking about them, and now it's like such a such a crazy thing has happened to them. Like I don't know, it's crazy. Um, I watched their episode of Idol Weekly like not that long ago, and Unbi was really cute. Like she was. I feel like it wasn't that long ago that I was like, man, she's really funny and really cute, and now it's like it's she's gone. I don't know. I mean I've lost people, so I guess I kind of I feel like I have an understanding of losing people. Like death is like a
Mhm.
real thing to me.
Mhm.
Um, but at the same time, you're still not ready. I mean, no matter how many times you go through it, I don't think you're ever ready. So I don't know. It's really surreal. I thought I was under the impression it was their manager that passed, but I guess it's the driver. Either way, that's terrible too. And people are.
Mhm.
I feel like um, I'm worried that he's gonna get the blame when it sounds like there was a catastrophe. From what I read, they lost their wheel, like one of their rear wheels.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
Yeah.
yeah, so I mean that's just an unexpected tragedy. Nobody should be put at fault for that. Um, I don't know, it's crazy. I'm glad that the out of all we didn't lose everybody. There are people who have walked away from that crash. We need to pray for them too because they're going to be hurting just as much. They lost somebody, they were there. That kind of trauma is. I mean, I've never been in a real accident, so I can't imagine what that's like. But that was a really bad accident. Um, I don't know. And two of their members are in surgery right now. One of them has like major head trauma. So I don't know. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Mm. I mean, about half an hour ago, Polaris Entertainment, their company, released a statement.
Mhm.
They pretty much said back wheel came off the car, causing it to spin on the slick roads before hitting the barrier. Lee says, still in critical condition. Sojung has stabilized a bit. Both will be moved to a hospital in Seoul when the time comes for it. Eunbi funeral's location will be decided later. And earlier they were saying how Ashley and Zuni weren't in the car, but they actually were. They were in the
Mm.
car with the manager and a stylist. and they were the ones who received minor injuries.
Oh,
Hmm.
okay.
Oh.
We thought that the manager or the driver passed away, but I'm not.
Oh, okay.
I'm kind of
I'd
out of.
read somewhere that it was the driver, but apparently,
Yeah, the driver
yeah.
wasn't the manager. I guess the driver's just a separate
Mm.
someone else.
Mm.
These will all be cleared up later, I think. It's just like it's
Yeah,
happening
it's
so late.
yeah, it's still stuff is still coming in, and then of course, getting then we have to wait for it to be translated for those of us that are non-Korean fans. So, um, but one thing is I've been looking at too a bit is, how, because, we talk about ourselves being netizens, and I mean, most of our, fan, fanning of K-pop happens online, how they're reacting to it, and, everyone seems just as shocked. And, I'm reading some things like on Tumblr, and this kind of stuck out to me, by this one user said, "To hear that a K-pop idol died scares the shit out of me. It is just another reminder that idols are human and death is a possibility at any time. Cherish the moments with your idols while they are still here. Don't cause fan wars or bash idols for no reasons, because one day those idols will be gone. Enjoy the music and give them as much love as you can, because you never know when it's too late." I think, especially with the way that Korea's entertainment industry, I mean, they put these people on pedestals like idols, like they're not real.
Hmm.
So, like, they're not real people. And so you kind of have this twisted kind of thing where it's like, they're human, and that they can, that they live, and that they can die, and that they can feel pain, and, like anybody else. But, somewhere in your mind, it's like, you're still kind of stuck in the fantasy aspect of it, because they're presented to you as like, as part of, this fantasy of K-pop, where, nothing bad ever happens, and, you know, everyone's
Hmm.
pretty and perfect. And so it's like, it's hard to, I mean, like Tim was saying, you see them on TV, it's hard to imagine, that one of them would just be gone like that.
I think it's a bit like it's even more remote for us because we are international fans, and I don't think like any of us here have even like seen them live and actually like alive in front of us.
Hmm.
And they just feel so far away because they're in a different country, and like you can be a fan of them, but it doesn't feel like they can be real people that you can actually touch and see. And
Hmm.
because of that too, it comes as such a shock to people. And like I've experienced like the deaths of people that I've known, but even for me, like I've never thought that an idol could die. It's because it's
Yeah.
like you didn't really think about it,
Yeah.
and like so it comes as a shock to
Yeah.
everyone.
And then especially since, um, they are currently promoting, they are all over music shows and variety, and everything, like Tim said, was watching a show with them the other day. I just watched their music video, earlier today, and, so it's a real, it's like, whiplash. It's like, I just saw you, doing something, and now you're not here. And, you know, um, uh, it looks like, on Twitter, um, at least at this moment that we're recording this, hashtag RIP NB is trending worldwide at one point, and Ladies Code was as well. Um, what do you guys think about the Korean music industry and how they might, um, respond to respond to this? Do you think, I mean, with Western, like say with Robin Williams and everything, they did the tributes and things like that. And I mean, do you think that they will do, a tribute for Unbi? I know a lot of that is also cultural, so it may not be, proper to mention her death, on a broadcast
Hmm.
of, say, Music Bank, for example.
Yeah, maybe not a show like Music Bank or something, but a more like maybe not a music showy thing, but something that's a bit more toned down on the entertainment and it's like a variety show where people talk or something.
Hmm.
Maybe they could mention it, but I don't think they would do a tribute because I just haven't seen that before in Korea. I just might not have seen it. Maybe they do those things.
Hmm.
I can't remember ever seeing like a tribute like that. So I don't I mean I'm sure you'll get people talking about it, especially with the um, emerging prevalence of social media. I'm sure somebody will say something, people will speak out on it, but I don't think we're gonna get like a tribute like that. And uh, I mean maybe it's better that way. I'm always indifferent about tributes because I think that they're really good, but I think a lot of them come while people are still mourning, and for some people it's okay, like for some people it helps, but other people like they kind of want to mourn in private and stuff.
Yeah.
Um, so I don't know. It's really you really got to know how the family's going to react to it. I think before you can do tributes and stuff like that. And a lot of the times they ask the family, which is good. At least here they do. So I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do in Korea if they're going to do any sort of tribute. But
I
I
Yeah.
hope they at
mean,
least get the permission.
yeah, I hope there's permission.
Yeah, I mean, like
Yeah.
currently right now, I've been because I follow celebrities on Twitter and stuff. I've been seeing a lot of them tweet about it, and saying, "Oh, I pray for the families and the members of Ladies Code and stuff like that." So that's going on right now. But like to say like a tribute like on Music Bank or anything, I don't really see that happening.
Hmm.
Well, I know because this is the first time really I've seen like an active idol passing away. Like, cause I mean, I believe, cause with Monday's Kids, that was a male group, and one of their members passed away from a motorcycle accident. But
Hmm.
that was back in 2008, so in my mind, I don't really remember how it went down during that time. But I know they did the whole funeral thing, and that's where all the celebrities went to go, say whatever they need to say and give their respects. And
Did they
then
let fans in to the funeral? Do you remember?
I don't think so. I don't really remember that part, but I remember there was a lot of like the paparazzis and taking photos of them being there, the family and all the celebrities going in and out of the place. But that's all I remember really from that time. But I don't know. Maybe like at the end of the music, because you know how end of the year they have their award shows. Maybe they might do a little something or maybe say something. But I think the regular shows like Music Bank, Music Core, Inkigayo, I think they're just gonna continue unless maybe an idol says something or that's what I think might happen.
I feel like it would feel out of place if even like an MC mentioned anything.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it bring down the whole everyone's mood, I guess.
And what's gonna happen to Ladies Code? I also wonder that, like, what are they going to do next after this?
Yeah. I feel like, I mean, something like that is, I mean, I mean, especially having one member pass away, and then, two of the members are also, in critical, condition. I mean, you know, you know, crossing, hopefully, the rest of them, everyone else will come out fine. But I mean, you know, I I don't know how, they could continue as a group, after all this, at least not right away. I mean, I know Sojung, had been getting over an eating disorder not too long ago. And, they were finally kind of finding their sound. And Polaris has said an album was supposed to come out this year, and they really hadn't really had a chance to kind of like really hit their stride yet. And then to have that happen, I hope Rise and Sojung are all right and they come out of surgery without any further complications. But I guess the only way I can think of it is try and think if I were in that situation, I would probably, want to be with my family, and being an entertainer, being a singer after going through something like that, even if they want to continue, I don't know if the group could continue if as four, certainly not with a replacement member.
Yeah. I think it's kind of too early to think about such things because we don't really know. I mean, we're all hoping and praying that the other two members are going to be fine after their surgeries and stuff, but we don't really for sure know if they're completely out of harm's way, and how the other two members that aren't seriously injured, like what's going through their minds right now and how they're feeling. And so, who knows? I think we'll find out exactly what's going to happen. But I think for now, it's too early to really think about that, I feel.
Yeah. I think also, for me, it's just, especially since we have so many rookie groups and so many, younger idols, around her age, the 1992, 93 line, 22, 23. It seems like such a shame, this is their dream and they're going out there and performing, and for, it to be taken away like this is, for the fans it's devastating, and I can't even imagine, what it's like. Like I said, I had trouble just processing, the information. And, I've seen a lot of stuff by people saying, I'm just waiting for someone to say it's a hoax, or, this is just, something being put out by the media. I know that some misinformation is being put out about some of the other members, but hopefully everything will be straightened out by the following day. But it's just really just shock. Like I said, they've been performing, I think, really well recently, been promoting their song Kiss Kiss, and we've all probably seen them perform at some point recently in the last few weeks or so, and now members sadly passed away. So does anyone think, or does anyone feel like they know enough about this to know, like, if this may affect traffic laws in Korea? Obviously none of us knows from personal experience, but we do know that there has been several situations like this before with idols and actors and people in Korean entertainment, and just in general Korean traffic laws are, from what I understand, are fairly loose, and traffic can be just, even pedestrians are in danger. It can be fairly dangerous for people on the road. And then, when you add into that someone may be, speeding and leaving in and out and trying to get to the next, gig or whatever, and then, in their case, it was raining. I don't know. Does anyone feel like they know enough to speak on that?
Well, I don't know, but I kind of hope this will at least maybe influence there to be more like programs or general awareness things on traffic safety. because those things always help if it's on broadcast or if it's just on a newspaper or something.
I mean, I know they've
I don't know if it
done,
will happen, but I kind of hope.
yeah, I mean, more awareness. Like I know on the variety shows, they have a lot of times have the girl groups or guy groups do little songs about, traffic safety and things like that. Um, but it's, from things I've read, it's really a problem as far as, people just not um, just not being attentive and just being very loose with, I mean, road safety and in general there. But um, I have a friend who lived there for a while, and I mean, she said there would be, she would, be walking. She never drove anywhere. She just took public transportation, and there would be, four cars all trying to get into the same lane, and they'd be moving over at the same time. I mean, she said, like traffic was just, normally like that. Um, and so it, yeah, I mean, I'm with you as far as hopefully there'll be more awareness, or, at least maybe force the government to, maybe open a discussion about it. It's all you can kind of hope for. Um, does anyone else have anything to say as far as Ladies Code? Um, I know I mentioned I was a fan of I'm a fan of Ladies Code, and like I said, they were kind of my up and coming, Wonder Girls. Hopefully, I feel like they kind of had that vibe. They were always kind of doing something just a little bit different from everyone else, and I I like that about them a lot. Um, I didn't love their latest song, but I mean, as far as the chore, they killed it with the choreography, I thought. Which is another thing that you don't see a lot with girl groups is like, a lot of, intense choreography or complicated choreography of any kind. So it just, so for me, to think about the future of the group, at this point, like I said, it's way too early, but it's just kind of as a as a fan, I guess, as a Ladies Code fan, it's just I
It's hard to think.
it's hard because then it's like, well, I mean, and whatever happens, whatever decision anyone makes, you can't fault anyone for anything, because it's like, considering what has happened, I if they decided to all disband, I would be like, I completely understand. Um, and even if they do stay together, I mean, I wouldn't expect to see them for a while. I mean,
Mhm.
that's you know, it's that has to be traumatizing to go through.
And like
And
it's their job to smile and entertain people, and it's just gonna be a bit, it's gonna be hard to do that when they've been through something like that. That's why it would be hard to see them after, like, for a long time after this.
yeah. And I think one thing with a lot of people, it's hitting them hard because I think, like I said, we've had a lot of cases where idols have been in car crashes and things, and people are thinking of these like near misses, these instances where someone from a group that they followed, was in a car accident, and no one was hurt, and that's usually what people are waiting for, is when you read that story, you're waiting for the no one was hurt at the end, or that someone is recuperating in the hospital. And, we didn't, unfortunately, that wasn't the case this time. But I think people are, kind of thinking back to, those times when it was other artists, other people, and thinking could have been them.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely not easy because there's always been like misses and always been like there's always been accidents, but no matter how hurt the idols or the celebrities were, in the end they were alive and they were able to recuperate and be okay. But NB, she passed away, so this kind of like boggles everyone's mind and just is like, wow, this really could happen. Just we thought we would always think, oh, they got an accident, but they're okay. But there's now for a lot of people, it opens their eyes to see the possibility. No, they can also not just be okay. They can also pass away like Unbi did. And I guess it's really like it seems it's making a lot of fans like scared and like kind of worried, and that's what I'm seeing a lot on like Twitter and Tumblr and stuff like that.
Yeah. And that's one thing is it's nice to see that, people are like, oh, I wasn't a fan of theirs, but I mean, it's still, affecting me.
Yeah.
And, and it's anybody with a pulse, you would think would be affected by something like this, but
Yeah.
it's
But
nice. Oh, go ahead.
sorry. No, but yeah, no, I'm glad that people, because I'm not a big Ladies Code fan, but I do like their songs and I do like the girls. I think they're really cute and funny. And like you earlier, I was watching their music video for Kiss Kiss, and I was just like watching the video. I'm starting to really like the song because at first I didn't really like it that much, but it gets into your head after a while. And so
Yeah.
when the news came out, I was just extremely shocked and uh, I cried I cried, and then I stopped, and then I cried again, and then I stopped, and then I cried again.
Yeah. I
'Cause
mean, yeah, I think the kicker for me was that they like were awesome at performing it live. Like you could kind of get a sense of it from the video, but it was like a whole different like song when they would perform it live because they have so much energy and like
yeah,
everybody, you feel like everyone kind of pulled their weight in that group, at least I
yeah,
did. But
yeah. And
um,
whenever I would watch them perform, I always would see that like whenever it's Unbi's turn to sing, like the fans would start like shout like loud, and you can tell she was like one of the popular members and that a lot of people loved her, and that because you can just see it on her how sweet and bubbly she is. She's just that kind of person that radiates that kind of energy no matter what. So
yeah.
it hurts a lot.
Tim, you've been awfully quiet. Have any
Yeah.
additional remarks to say?
No,
Or are you
I
just
mean,
kind of,
it's just crazy. Like I don't know what to say other than it's crazy. And I know that I was gonna bring it up, but I don't know. I didn't chime in. But I know that people's attitude towards car safety, at least from what I've seen, what I've heard, and from I have friends that have lived in Korea. It's really, really relaxed there. Like the car safety isn't really a top priority for them. Um, and I mean, look at how many. I mean, you've seen so many accidents in the K-pop industry. So many people have had some kind of traffic accident, and it's crazy because obviously accidents happen and you see them, but it feels like, especially because their music industry is relatively small, it's not like we go very long without a car accident. Sometimes it feels like, but
yeah,
I don't remember a time where it was like this, where we lost somebody. We had the threat for a while of people wondering if Zinger was going to stabilize, but it was never like even then they assured us that she'd be okay.
yeah,
So it's really surreal that we lost somebody, and part of it is because of that lax attitude towards car safety. I mean, she didn't have a seatbelt on, and I know that people in other countries do that. I'm not saying, I'm not holding it against the country or anything like that, but it's just life's short, and it's crazy to be reminded of that. She's younger than I am, and she's passed away already. It's just crazy how short life is.
It is. I mean, even in the U.S., where we just to, say where we have maybe have stricter traffic safety laws. Um, you know, car crashes still are one of the, top, killers, of, the American population, especially teenagers, younger drivers. Um, I can't tell you how many people I went to high school with, you know, I have people in accidents, people that passed away, and it was because of a car accident. And it was, them not wearing their seatbelt, or, you know, just being in a horrific accident. But it does seem, the kind of idle connection where it seems like it's always kind of a chain of car accidents that are happening, one after the other does kind of make it a different situation, wherein, it feels like something, significant could be done to keep this from happening again, or at least, lower the threat level of, of this happening to someone.
I mean, I wish it can, with this, they'll change some things and about, the rules and how to change people's attitudes about being too lax about driving. But I really wish it can change, but I'm really seeing it might be too difficult because, you know, I think it'll just be difficult, but hopefully it will open the eyes for some people and it'll, spread the, acknowledgement that, you have to be more careful and you have to put your seatbelt on and things like that.
Yeah. It's just, like I said, for me, it's just hard to process. I don't think, I mean, I can't say in all my years of K-pop, because I've only been involved in K-pop and Korean entertainment and culture since 2008-ish. But I mean, this is definitely, my first experience with someone in that industry that I was familiar with having passed. I do know, there was that situation with that famous Korean actress that committed suicide. And that was, a huge thing in Korea. Let me see, Choi Chin-sil. I mean, I remember that was on Western news. It was a huge thing. But I wasn't, I was just getting involved in Korea, so I didn't know much about her. But this is definitely my first experience with this, and then I think about a lot of the fans. They're very young and having to deal with it, and so hopefully hopefully they'll have, I know that depression and grief and those sort of things sometimes aren't handled the way they should be, but hopefully, they'll be cognizant, of ladies' codes and, their fans and, K-pop fans and try to Polaris and the industry as a whole, just be gentle and take their time with this and just um, you know, kind of, be, be try and be like a comforting presence for a lot of the fans because I think, you know, they don't know, especially international fans. A lot of us, we, if we're even grieving a little bit, it's like, well, I don't know who to transfer that grief to. Like, I tell somebody and they're like, I don't know who that is, or you feel kind of silly or embarrassed because it's like, well, you're grieving over somebody you don't know, but you know then you realize, I mean, that's the case with any celebrity or any beloved person in the media.
I think this is when it's a good time when you talk to people on Twitter or Tumblr or whatever SNS you use with you can always talk to fellow fans or fellow K-pop fans just so you can kind of have that network, at least have someone to talk to or who understands what you're feeling. If people in your real life don't really understand or don't sympathize with you, it's always good to have that sort of connection. Like right now, like we are all talking to each other because it helps, you know, to speak
Yeah.
about it and to share our feelings. And we have this podcast, hopefully, and if you don't have this, then you always have someone you can talk to on Twitter or Kakao Talk or whoever it is, however you talk to other fellow fans online.
Like I said, I just feel like the Korean entertainment industry, they're small enough. I feel like, I don't know if I want to go so far as that they have a responsibility, but you know that they can definitely take it upon themselves to help, help, all of these fans, all of these people, grieve, because they're not just going to be grieving over Eunbi and Ladies Code, but just grieving in general, because with K-pop, it's like, it's almost like it's its own kind of living, breathing thing, and Eunbi and Ladies Code are part of that thing, and they're not Girls' Generation, they're not TVXQ, but they were part of, they were on TV several times a week. You know, people saw them perform in person, and I just think that the PDs or whomever, I just hope that they take their time with whatever it is that they decide to do, however they decide to address the issue. Like I said, so far on the internet, it seems like people are being pretty respectful and everything, and hopefully it will stay that way. But yeah,
I mean, I've been kind of through this before, because with actors wise, there was the case with Leon. People know him from the Coffee Prince drama. He
Mhm.
passed away in a motorcycle accident.
Oh yeah.
And then the one that hit me more was with the actor Park Young Ha. He's mostly known because he was on Winter Sonata, and that kind of like
Oh yeah.
everyone knew him through that. But I knew him through the drama called A Man's Story, which was his very last drama,
Mhm.
and he committed suicide. But like I remember when I got that news, and like it hit me so hard, like I cried for days because I absolutely loved him, and it was announced like he was going to be starring in a drama with Yoon and Hae and everything. Like that was like set, and then when he passed away, that just hit me and other like K drama fans like really hard. Like even to this day, kind of like sometimes like I rewatch that drama and I can't help but like tear up or like feel
Yeah,
something because that's I understand because that's something that really never goes away. Like even
it
if it's
doesn't.
like I mean even that's from like long ago, like the Mexican American singer Selena, like that
Mhm.
still hits me,
Yeah.
and then Ali has passed away. That still
Yeah.
hits me.
I mean, people are still, you know, are still, on the anniversary of her death, always, putting up memorials for her. I mean, it's just, especially when I think it's someone that's young and talented and, someone that just has so much ahead of them and it just seems like something just like that, senseless, way to die. I mean, what, you know, way to die isn't senseless, but, I think with situations like that, people feel even more like, why them? That's it's not fair.
Yeah.
Um, but I think I can hope that you know the K-pop online fandom will hang together, will support each other, um, international fans and non-international fans, and support Ladies Code during this time. Um, does anyone have any other remarks that they want to make?
No, I mean, just send out your condolences, pray for them. Two of them are still in the hospital. Um, I don't know what the future is going to hold for them, but this is rough. It's really rough.
Okay. Well, obviously, everyone at Not Your Average Netizens, we give our deepest condolences to Unbee's families and friends and the rest of the friends and families of those who were involved in the accident. Um, rest in peace, Unbee, and you know, you will have our support, and that's it.
Yep.
That's all we